All right, so this is problem J. Jessica. All right, so we're going to do the square root of 176. Now, the reason we know it's the square root is because there's nothing in the mullet, and that means that we need two of the same number. So we're going to take our perfect square list, and we're going to find the biggest number from these pink columns that we think divides into 176. Now, we're going to go ahead and not go above 144. But do you think that 144 divides evenly into 176?
No.
So let's work backwards. Let's try maybe 64. In your handy-dandy calculators, please do 176 divided by 64. And when you find the number, do not scream it out. And you're just working your way backwards. So after 64, what would you use next?
49.
Go, yep, and then what would you use?
30.
All right. So do not scream it out once you find it. Then keep dividing and not look at me. No, you're supposed to go until you get a whole number. You use your perfect squares until you get a whole number. Y'all, put your hand down. Whisper to each other if you need to. Not so loud. That's not a perfect square.
I got 60.
I'm going hard, bro. You don't care. I got it.
Okay, does everybody understand how we find our number?
Yes.
So you do 176 and you divide it by perfect squares until you get the whole number. Now what did you guys get?
16.
11 and 16. Perfect. Now remember, you should tell me two numbers I divided.
Oh, I did 176 times 16. I got like 2,000. You said a whole number, and then I got a whole number back. I put the times. Calm down with that. I'm sorry.
Okay, now what does 16 get broken down into?
4.
4 and 4, because remember we need two of the same number. Do we now have two of the same number? Fantastic. It goes to the outside, and what stays inside to read Harry Potter? 11.
Can you make the test this easy?
Where's the test?
Because we just need two of the same number. Do we now have two of the same number?
Yes.
Then we move on.
Wait, I'm punching.
Because it's the square root.
Oh, so if there was like a 3
Right, just let me finish answering this question.
If there's a 3 in front of that, we have to find 3?
Three of the same number,
So there
yes.
could be on the
Wait, what?
on the test. Are we going to use it?
Yes. Jared, did you have a question?
Yes, we always put the big number on the left.
Okay, hey, you're touching her and she doesn't want to be touched.
I didn't touch it.
Lean forward, respect personal space.
Do you always put the big number on the left?
No.
No.
Oh, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I usually use perfect squares.
How do you know what's on the side?
The one that's left over is the one that goes inside.
So the one you can break down.
Right. Okay, let's do another one. Oh my God.
What if you come to one and there's two like numbers that can be split into like?
Then you're taking the square root of a perfect square and you just take the square root of that number.
Okay, another one.
Okay, one like this and then we're doing letters. K. 3 times the square root of 294. Now remember, take your perfect square card. Divide 294. Divide 294. Divide 294 by a perfect square. If only it was funny. Nah, we're not screaming. We're just, once we think we get it, we're just going to sit there, wait for our group to get on the same page as us. Steven's going to use his own calculator and not stare at Owen's. Right, but you have a calculator, and all we're doing right now is dividing.
Okay, so 299. Wrong.
Oh. Wrong to begin with.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, what's the perfect square? 49 and
6.
6. Look at us go.
Then 7 and
Wah.
7. How high do you know where it starts?
Starts your biggest one possible.
Oh, I got a 21 14.
Right, baby, but neither of those are perfect squares.
Wrong. Wait, I thought 25. That's why I got that.
He didn't say 25, and 25 doesn't divide into 294.
Oh, I thought he said 25.
That sinking thing is killing some of us. Alright, so 49 gets broken down into 7 and 7. We now have two of the same number. Now, Sam, you are going to redeem yourself from Friday. And for the love of sweet baby Jesus in the cradle, what are we going to do with the 7 and the 3? Look at you go, baby cakes. Take a point. Alright, now what is 7 times 3? And what says in to read Harry Potter?
Take a
Wait a minute.
I get a point, right?
Yeah, right, you should.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, can we move on to letters? We're moving on to letters. I can't. We can't. We've got stuff to do today. All right, L. The square root, L is in Lotato. Lotato. It's a low potato.
How low is it?
60 x to the 11th.
How low can the potato be?
Oh, I got it.
All right, the square root of 60 times x to the 11th. Now, first, ignore the variable and just break down the 60.
Okay.
Find the biggest perfect square that divides into 60, and don't scream it out. Yes, I will put it back up since we can't make stuff on our own without Mom.
Just tell me what it is out.
Wait, is it not here? Correct.
Then stop acting like I'm your mom.
Why? Mom.
I hope I will be a good mom.
Mom to
All right, what number did we get?
15.
15 and?
4.
Okay. Okay, baby, we're just dividing by perfect squares. I need you to put that down and act like you have sense. Put that down. Put that down. You know it's going to drive me crazy when you're making noise and I'm trying to explain. All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
What we do is we do 60 divided by whatever number we think we'll go into it. We know it's not going to be 36. We could try 25, but it's not 50, so we don't care about that. We try 16, it doesn't work. 9 doesn't work, we go to 4.
How it's those?
No, it's.
Oh, God.
Blue does not make
Okay, what does 4 get?
He's so smart in history.
What does 4 get broken down into? Okay, so what goes to the outside? All right, leave a space
Wait, why do you go to the 4s?
because 4 is the perfect square.
Gotcha.
15 stays inside. I'm running out of room, so I'm going to have to write it small. Now, let's look at our letters. What is the index of this radical? And 2 goes into 11 how many times? With how many left over? Boom, we're done.
So everything left over always goes inside.
Yes, that's what we've been doing for 3 days now.
Wait, confused, but I'm just kidding.
Also, if there's a 3 out there, let's say,
We're not there yet. Just wait. Just we're getting there in just a minute. I promise.
But see, I was going right.
Yes, you're on the right track, but just breathe for a second. All right, does everybody understand square roots?
Oh, yeah.
You just need 2 of the same number.
We're done. We got it.
Okay, are we ready to do? We got to move on to cubes. We got to. Do you have a question? Did she help explain it to you?
Oh, yeah, I should have.
Thank you for saving my sanity. All right, we're going to call this 51D as in Dotato.
I thought you were going to say.
Do you need to sit in the hallway again?
No.
Yes, sir.
I already got kicked.
I'll shout out to Logan.
I don't.
Look at me.
Oh. Wait, can I get like another sheet of paper?
5 push-ups and no, just turn it over.
No, oh, you're just hanging over?
Tyler hasn't had to do his push-up.
Oh, he will.
Really?
I ignore him. But the thing is, like, you look at me when you say stuff you shouldn't say. Yes, you do every time.
No, because you were looking at me.
That's right.
Right in my
You get what
soul.
Logan's saying though?
Yeah, he needs to stop.
You get what he's saying?
Yeah, he's right here.
Ow! Now I thought I'm
Okay, are we ready?
No.
Oh my sweet Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
No, we're not.
No.
Mark just started.
Mark just.
Ow, that kind of hurt.
Alright.
I messed up.
When are you going to get an actual notebook? What are you going to do on notebook checks?
He's gonna be.
Can you please do one soon as a quiz, Grace?
Oh, it's probably going to be a test grade.
Please do. Please. Please.
Alright, we're starting with the cubed root of 108. And the reason we know it's the cubed root is because this 3 is a baby and it's sitting in the mullet. The difference between the baby 3 and the big 3 is the big 3 would be out front and it would be big. Does everybody understand? Now, the cubed root means that you're not going to use perfect squares because you just need 3 of the same number. So please, someone think of a number that goes into 108.
2.
Alright, what's 108 divided? Let's pick a bigger number than 2.
12.
12.
Alright, do 108 divided by 12.
9.
And you get 9.
No, you don't. Yeah, you do. I did multiply my back.
Okay, now let's break 9 down. What does 9 get broken down into?
3.
Now, do we have 3 of the same number yet?
No.
But can we break 12 down?
Yeah, 3 and 4. I'm at 4 and 4. Yeah, 4 and 3. Haha.
Good job.
Okay, do we have 3 of the same number?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. So one of those goes to the outside. And what stays inside to read Harry Potter? The 4.
4.
And then you just put the baby 3 right there in the mullet.
I took a point. Because I said 4 here.
That's right.
No, when we ask to take points, we don't get points. Yes.
Let's say that 3 was like a 4. Would we put a 4 where the little 3 is here?
Whoa.
Which 3 is a 4? There's too many 3s and 4s in this problem for you to just say if that 3 was a 4.
Where did you get that for?
Which one, which 3, baby? There's multiple 3s up there.
Every number that's a 3. Let's say they were 10. Right there where the 3 is in the, like in the answer, the little 3. Would that
The index?
Yeah, would that be a 10? Or
No, it stays this.
Okay. So we just really just put 1, 3, and then the 4.
We're going to go through it again. Wait, what, Connor? Yes.
I have a question.
All right, boys, stop talking over there. Yes.
How'd you get 4?
I'm going to go through it one more time.
Okay.
The first thing we did was we divided 108 into 12 and 9. And we saw, hey, self, there's not 3 of the same number. So we broke down 9 into 3 and 3. And we had 12, 3, and 3. And we said, hey, self, we still don't have 3 of the same number. So we know we need to get a 3, right?
Correct.
That means that we're going to divide 12 by 3. And we got 4. And I said, hey, self, there's 1, 2, 3 3s. So I bring this 3 right here. And then I bring this 4 right here because that's the one that's left over. Now this 3 that was our index, it stays as part of our problem every single time.
What if our index was like 4?
We're not there.
Okay.
What if our index was a potato? We don't care about that right now. Right now we're on here. Okay.
At least on the moment.
Please, sweet Jesus. Alright, B. The square root, or no, the cubed root, I got excited, of 135.
That's a big number.
Now, since it ends in a 5, what number do we know goes into 5? What's 135 divided by 5? 27. Now, can we break 5 down anymore?
Yes.
No, we can't. So we move over to the 27. What does the 27 get broken down to?
3 and 9.
Alright, do we have 3 of the same number yet? Where do you see 3 of the same number?
Now break the 9 into 2 3s.
Did you go ahead and break the 9 down?
There you go, baby.
1, 2, 3. What happens to the 3s that I've circled?
They go on the outside.
Alright, does the mullet stay with a 3 in it?
Yes.
The baby 3 stays, and what stays inside to read Harry Potter?
Why didn't you use
Because we need 3 of the same number, baby. If I have 9 and 3, I don't have 3 of the same number.
I got a question. No, I meant like in the inside.
Oh, you can't. inside here?
Yeah.
Because 9's not left over. We broke it down into the 3s.
Oh.
Yes. What now?
What is the third number?
Where does it come from? After we've circled it? It's like when we had the 2 numbers and we only took 1 outside. We just take one of them outside. The rest just like here.
So it's just the one that you didn't break down is the one inside.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I did. Uno más. And then we're doing letters.
Letters are easy.
I know. Cubed root of 32. Let's do this really fast.
Wait, let's see as in cow.
What's the biggest number that goes into 32?
4.
Alright, 16 and 2. Do we have 2 of the same number? Alright, so let's break this down into what? 4 and 4? Do we have 3 of the same number? Break this 4 down into 2 and 2. Do we have 3 2s? 1, 2, 3. I can't slow down. We took forever to get to this point.
Yeah, I got 5.
Wait,
Right, but you only need 3. So then whatever's left over stays inside. So those other 2 that you have left over, Sam, multiply them together, put it inside the house. That's it. That's all you gotta do. No, hers is a different. She did something else. Ignore. It doesn't. Life. Do you understand how we got that?
I don't see where the 4. Yeah, never mind. Oh, you only broke down 1. That's.
Oh, yeah.
All right, last one, and then our activity for today.
I'm gonna have churros.
Homework.
you got.
Stop.
Never mind.
Stop.
Never mind. Share. Never mind.
Please do not make you call your dad
Oh.
again.
What?
I had to call both your mama and your daddy
Why?
when you weren't passing.
Oh.
So let's not do that again. Because I feel like he won't be as excited about a behavior issue.
My mama cussed my hair out.
Alright, ready for this problem?
Yeah.
Alright, it's the cubed root. So let's break down 64 into what?
8 and 8.
Okay? Now remember, we need 3 of the same number because it's cubed root. So do we have 3 of the same number?
No. You're gonna divide 8 through 4 and 2. And you divide 4 and you have 2. Right.
Can this 8 also be broken down into 3 2s? It sure can. So,
I have a question.
So what are we supposed to do?
yes.
Could you just not break down the other 8 and get 4 3 4 4s?
I was trying to get there.
Oh, sorry.
So we have 3 2s, right? But if we broke this 8 down into 3 2s, that means we can break this 8 down into 3 2s. Right? So we would bring 1 from this group to the outside, 1 from this group to the outside. What would we do with this 2 and the 2? Multiply them, and what does it become? 4. The cubed root of 64 is 4. The cubed root of 64 is 4. What is 64 divided by 4?
64 divided by 4 is 16.
Let me leave this as an 8. Let's come over here and look at the 64. What does the 16 get broken down into? 1, 2, 3, boom. Do you see how I have 3 of the same number? And I'm not done. I have 6 of the same number here, correct? So I'm going to take the 2 from here, the 2 from here, and multiply. Okay, Sweet Pea, you know how when we take the 2 from here, it's going to go to the outside of the radical? And then we also need a 2 from here. When we put 2 things on the outside, what do we do with them?
Oh, but if we would have chosen like 16 and 14.
Yep, that's why it's good to pick the bigger number.
Okay.
That's the point of what I'm showing you.
So I didn't have to write it down.
Oh my god. Alright, 3 goes into 5 how many times? Blair, you didn't leave enough room. Once with how many left over?
2.
So 4x cubed root x squared. Okay.
Wait a
Oh my gosh. What don't you get?
Mama, come here. Mama.
Why?
Right, I just explained that to you.
Your dad's very good sleeper stuff. It's not good teeth.
I don't think she's lost.
Well, mother you.
Wait, I'm lost too. I'm lost too.
We can leave you.
No.
It's okay to
Okay. Everybody look at this problem where I had 8 and 8. Okay? I cover up this 8 and I broke it down into 3 2s. That means on the outside of my radical, I'm going to have a 2, right? And I know I'm going to have a cube root. Jesus, take the wheel. What don't you understand about this part? Then I covered up right here. How many 2s do I have? So I'm going to take another one and I'm going to bring it to the outside. If there's something already outside, you multiply them together.
Oh my God.
Because if you break this 8 down, you have to break this 8 down. Again, that's why I said pick the biggest number and we didn't.
Oh.
So if we would have gone with 16 and 4, what does 16 get broken down into? 4 and 4. And then I have 1, 2, 3 4s, so 1 goes to the outside.
I got you.
So you pick the biggest number.
Wait,
I don't know why y'all didn't pick the biggest number. That's the point of what I was trying to explain to you.
What's the biggest number? 30.
so how did you put, like, I'm confused on how you wrote the X.
Alright, the X. 3 goes into 5 how many times? Once. With how many left over? So 1 X comes to the outside, 2 stays
Oh, I
inside.
think you, like, scratched that out.
No, I just didn't have enough space. Yes. Yes. That's why it's better to pick the biggest number and then you don't have to do all that.
That was my fault. I chose
I know.
I chose 8.
Okay, now your activity for today is you're going to get cards. And each group gets 4 cards.